The young Komura is an ordinary high school student, who attends as all his hours are consumed by his seatmate Mia, whom he is hopelessly in love with. Komura cannot stop thinking about the girl with the pink hair and red glasses, who sit next to him. He is infatuated with her. However, they changed seats 3 days ago, but he knows she is always distracted, and speaks very little. When she does speak, she says odd things, like renaming objects. Despite her strangeness, he cannot stop thinking about her. One day, Mia appears in class without her glasses. This surprises Komura, who realizes that she is even more beautiful without them. However, he is concerned to see her looking so grumpy, and doesn't understand why, although he wants to speak to her, and ask why she doesn't have her glasses that day. He blushes because he wasn't expecting it. Mia tells him not to worry if she looks grumpy, as it doesn't mean she's in a bad mood. Instead, she has to squint to see because she forgot her glasses. She mentions it's strange, because she hasn't forgotten them until now. This more nervous, causing him to jump out of his seat. Mia tells him it's not necessary for both of them to use the same book, and she can use his alone. When Mia asks why he's saying this if he needs the book too, Komura ends up agreeing to share it. During class, Komura is very nervous, because Mia uses the book with her nose nearly touching the pages, which means she's very close to him. Despite this, he's glad, because not only are they closer physically, but he also feels they've connected more figuratively, having had their first real conversation. However, his dreams are shattered when Mia leans on close to him, leading just to answers that he is Komura. Mia thanks him, recognizing him as the guy who sits next to her. After this, he realizes that Mia has mistakenly opened his locker, and taking his shoes, he tells Mia that she might have accidentally taken his shoes. Despite her friends insisting on helping her find her shoes, Mia insisted she could find her locker on her own. But clearly, that didn't happen. Komura helps Mia find her shoes, and she explains that she had opened what she thought was her locker, but saw something green on top, and her shoes didn't have anything green. Thus, she ended up confusing them with Komura's. When Komura opens Mia's locker, because they leave slimy goo everywhere, Komura advises her to turn around and look away so he can remove the frog from her shoes. Mia, however, is no fool and asks if the green thing on the shoes was a frog. Komura can't lie after cleaning it off. Mia puts on her shoes, but still feels disgusted. Once she's put on her shoes, and feels better as her feet are back in the same place they were moments ago. Mia sits down, and our protagonist begins to hand her the item. The girl, a bit embarrassed, thanks Komura for helping her so much that day, and says that she will return the favor someday. However, Komura insists that it's not necessary, as it was no trouble for him at all. As they lose themselves in the moments of that day, Komura becomes distracted for a moment. When he comes back to reality, he finds Mia face extremely close to him. He nervously asks what she's doing. That night, Komura stops to think that it would be nice if Mia forgot her glasses again, because she clearly struggles without them. Later in class, Mia falls asleep at her desk, and the teacher reprimands her in front of the class. To save her from the scolding, Komura explains that Mia forgot her glasses, so she has to get very close to her book to read. He reassures the teacher that Mia is not sleeping, but struggling without her glasses. Convicted by this explanation, the teacher stops insisting and lets Mia off the hook. However, Komura has to wake her up to avoid further trouble, but he hesitates to make physical contact. At that moment, Mia wakes up, and still half asleep, and without her glasses, mistakes Komura for her father. She ends up resting her head on his shoulder, but it only lasts a few seconds, before the teacher wakes her up. The next day, Mia appears again without her glasses, and gets close to Komura's face, causing him to blush intensely at how close she is. He's relieved that she can't see his reaction. But then Mia comments, "So this is your face?" before leaving, which leaves Komura confused. Later, the girl tells her friends that she is now using contact lenses, but still keeps a furrowed brow because she has trouble adjusting to them. As the days go by, Mia continues attending school without her glasses, and seems to have difficulty with the contact lenses as well. Still struggling with her vision, Komura has gotten used to seeing her with glasses, and helping her with daily tasks. Because she can't manage them properly, this time, the issue is bigger because Mia has been assigned to work in the cafeteria, meaning she's responsible for serving food to everyone. Seeing this could be complicated for her, Komura decides to help and volunteers to assist in the cafeteria. That day, while they are serving food to others, our protagonist notices that Mia is not controlling the portions well, because she can't see properly. He insists on changing tasks. so she no longer serves the stew, as she has been fetching many plates in recent minutes. However, Mia, being quite proud, believes she's doing everything correctly, and refuses to switch tasks, with no other option. Komura advises her to manage the portion sizes better. Mia takes his advice, but goes to the other extreme, starting to serve very small portions. As all this happens, Mia starts to feel hungry and comments to Komura that she really likes this stew, while he, preferring curry, keeps that to himself. Nonetheless, he is happy to be able to converse with her. At one point, a young man asks Mia for more meat in his stew, and she responds that she can't give him more meat, but can offer extra potatoes. She then ends up giving him a large portion of meat. Komura realizes that Mia has trouble distinguishing between meat and potatoes, because they are the same size and color. After their shift in the cafeteria, the volunteers finally get to eat. As they remove their mask, Mia approaches Komura suspiciously, and secretly hands him his portion of food, saying she saved a lot of meat for his stew, because it makes it tastier, as a way of thanking him for everything he has done for her in recent day. Komura blushes furiously and thanks her. Mia asks him to keep it a secret, as no one should know she saved meat for him. However, other volunteers around them saw the exchange and smiled warmly. Later, Komura ends up with his stew full of potatoes, and without any meat. Another day, Mia appears without her glasses again, and Komura comments on it. She explains that she has her contact lenses in her bag, but dislikes using them because they are uncomfortable, and she once had trouble removing them, which caused her some trauma. Despite this, she attempts to put in the contact lenses, but becomes very nervous. Seeing her in this state, Komura stops her, and tells her not to force herself to do things she doesn't want to, assuring her that he will always protect her. Overcome with emotion, our protagonist shouts in front of the entire class that he will protect her every time she doesn't have her glasses or contact lenses. Despite his classmates being shocked and making comments about his exaggerated words, Mia looks at him intently, and with tears in her eyes, thanks him. Komura is deeply moved by her words, and from that moment on is more determined than ever to protect her from all the evils in the world. The next day, Mia comes to class with her glasses on after a long time of not wearing them, but she still looks upset. Our protagonist asks what's wrong, and she explains that due to the temperature change and humidity that day, her glasses are fogging up, causing her to strain her eyes to see. Then one of her classmates, Kyutura, appears with fogged up glasses, and Mia tells Komura that there's a stranger in the classroom and they should inform the teachers. When Komura explains that Kyutura is her classmate, Mia admits that she didn't realize it because she can't see his eyes through her fogged up glasses. This makes her wonder if he would also not recognize her winter glasses fog up. Komura reassures her that it's not the case. Calming her, Mia then tells herself that as long as Komura recognizes her, it's fine. These words linger in Komura's mind, who can't believe that someone like him means something in her life. On a weekend, Mia messages Komura, asking him to meet her at the train station. Excited because they will see each other outside of school, the boy falls out of bed from the excitement. Later, when he arrives at the location, he finds that his classmate has once again forgotten her glasses. Mia explains that she fell asleep on the train and lost her glasses, but now needs Komura's help to get to a specific place. Komura is excited, feeling it's almost like a date, even though he knows Mia's intentions are different. His heart races even more when she takes his hand, asking him to guide her to the destination. He helps her through her nervousness until they reach the location. They enter a cafe, and Mia explains that the cake they are about to eat is only made on Saturdays, and she is a fan of it. She couldn't miss another weekend without having it. Komura, touched by her enthusiasm, is both charmed and awkward when he sees that Mia struggles to eat the cake because she can't see it well. As a result, Komura ends up feeding her, feeling somewhat embarrassed by the act. After the cafe visit, they head to a glasses shop. Mia explains that her old glasses are no longer useful, so she ordered new ones a few days ago. After trying them on, she finds they fit perfectly. The day seems to end well. Komura says goodbye and turns to leave, but Mia grabs his hand and asks if they can spend the day together now that she can see properly. This makes Komura nervous again, but they end up spending the day together, playing games, trying different foods, and talking. When they part ways, at the end of the day, Mia thanks Komura for his company, saying she had a great time. As Komura returns home, he reflects on how nice Mia's comments were, and realizes what a great person she is. The next day, Mia arrives at school with a mask on, feeling a bit unwell. Unfortunately, The mask fogs up her glasses, and her classmates begin to tease her, even calling Komura to laugh at her. Although Komura doesn't join in the laughter, he also doesn't stop it. This makes Mia feel insecure, because she's in the same situation. So she takes off her glasses, claiming she forgot them that day, though everyone knows it's a lie. As she walks around the school, Komura finds her crouched down, meowing like a cat. This scene is incredibly cute, and he struggles not to film it with his phone. Komura thinks Mia must be playing with a stray cat, but upon closer inspection, he realizes it's actually a black bag she mistook for an animal, because she forgot her glasses again. When she touches his head, he realizes it's Mia, making the situation a bit awkward. At school, Komura is about to enter the classroom, when he sees Mia talking to another boy, Asuma, who is handsome and popular. Asuma is helping Mia, because she doesn't have her glasses again, and seizes the opportunity to flirt with her. When he helps her look for her books, he touches her hands. But Mia doesn't comment on it. Later, she thanks Asuma, but mistakenly mentions Komura's name. Realizing who she meant, Mia blushes, and gets nervous, saying she thought it was Komura, because he always helps her, which made her comfortable. Now, she feels embarrassed. Komura, who has been hiding and feeling jealous, starts to understand his importance in Mia's life. In the following afternoons, Mia's friends express concern about her constantly forgetting her glasses, mentioning that it makes her look like she's scowling at everyone. This comment worries Mia, who tries to fix her expression but struggles because she can't see clearly. The next day, Mia asks Komura to help her practice for word exchange game, because she always loses when playing with a friend. They practice, but she ends up losing again. On another day, Mia and other classmates must stay behind to clean the classroom. Komura enjoys this task just because he's with her. However, he notices a cockroach crawling up the wall near Mia, and asks her to come closer without explaining why. At that moment, another girl screams about the cockroach, causing Mia to jump onto Komura for protection. Later, some of Komura's classmates are talking about a handwritten love letter they are too shy to deliver. When the bell rings to return to class, the girls run off, and the letter falls to the ground. Mia finds the letter, but can't read it without her glasses. When Komura sees her struggling, he realizes that the letter is addressed to Asuma. Mia, distressed, runs to the classroom, and hands the letter to Asuma without saying a word. This makes Komura nervous, because he knows the misunderstanding will make Asuma believe the letter is from Mia. In class, Mia's friends excitedly discuss the letter, surprised to learn that Mia likes Asuma. Mia admits she does like him a bit, which stirs up jealousy and insecurity in Komura. After following Asuma to see what he does with the letter, Komura sees him smile while reading it, making him feel even worse. He becomes despondent, feeling he can't compare to Asuma, who is attractive, athletic, and gets good grades, while Komura sees himself as just an ordinary guy. Komura starts trembling, feeling unwell, and Mia approaches to ask if he's okay. He says he is, but then Mia asks if he likes Asuma. Komura admits he likes her a bit, but doesn't understand why everyone keeps asking the same question. He would understand if they asked about the main character, but he's confused about what Mia's means. Mia explains that she's growing fond of Komura recently, and likes him. This makes Komura blush, but he still doesn't grasp what she means by liking him, as he can't imagine liking so many people at once. Their conversation is interrupted when Mia has a letter for Asuma, but she can't read it, because she doesn't have her glasses. Komura ends up reading the letter, and is surprised to find out that it says "you like Komura." Mia's main character is unable to read it loud, and doesn't understand what's happening. Asuma explains to their friends that Mia gave her love letter from someone else, which is why she wanted to do the same thing. But Mia doesn't understand and keeps asking Komura what the letter said. He simply says the letter was a thank you for delivering the other love letter, as Asuma watches them with knowing smile. Winter has arrived in the city, and scarves and coats aren't enough to keep warm. While heading to school, Komura decides to buy coffee to warm up. However, when he reaches the vending machine, he finds Mia there again, still without her glasses, struggling to see the available product. Komura approaches her, greets her, and they start talking about how cold it is, and says she wanted hot chocolate from the machine, and he asks if she needs help. She takes offense, feeling it sounds like her mother, and insists she can manage on her own. However, Mia ends up getting a black coffee, which she dislikes intensely, and offers it to Komura. He accepts it out of courtesy, and he's excited at the thought of sharing the same cup, which feels like an indirect kiss. but the idea makes him so nervous that he ultimately doesn't drink it, and leaves the coffee untouched. Another day, Komura is in big trouble for arriving very late to school. He starts running desperately, and sees Mia in the same situation, also running to school without her glasses. He catches up to her and greets her, but she mistakes him for just another man, which offends him, though he doesn't say anything. They both stop at a traffic light, and he notices that she is sweaty and disheveled, which surprises him, since she usually looks very put together. While waiting for the light to change, Mia tells herself she looks too messy, and doesn't want Komura to see her like this. She wonders if she'll have time to brush her hair. Komura, who is beside her, hears this and gets excited, thinking about how she cares about her appearance in front of him. Eventually, Komura stays on the ground so long that he arrives late to school. During gym class, Mia twists her ankle, and in the fall breaks her glasses. Komura decides to help her, but Asuma insists that he'd be the one to carry her, making Komura uncomfortable, because he doesn't understand if he's being helpful or just being carried. Mia apologizes, feeling that she might be a burden, since she has gained weight recently. This surprises Komura, who internally and secretly says he would like her even if she weighed 1,000 kilograms. Another day, Mia tries to change a document on the wall for her teacher, but it's too high for her to reach. Komura offers to do it for her, but he's also too short to reach. Then Asuma appears, and effortlessly changes the document, making Komura feel bad. Mia asks what's wrong, and without any embarrassment, he admits he wishes he were a bit taller. She responds that it's better if he isn't, which surprises Komura. Mia gets close to his face, and tells him that if he were taller, she wouldn't be able to see his face up close like she does now, and she enjoys seeing it up close. After this, she leaves, but it stays in Komura's mind, and he decides he never wants to grow taller. Another day in class, some classmates get distracted by a beautiful heart-shaped cloud outside the window. Mia tries to see it, but can't without her glasses, and gives up. Komura sees this and decides to do something about it. That night, while Mia's at home, she receives a message from Komura with a photo of the cloud, saying he took it for her. The message and photo took a lot of effort and courage to send, and he didn't receive a response, making him insecure about whether he did the right thing. On the other side, Mia blushes, and is happy to have received such a lovely message. Another day, Mia is looking for her glasses, sure she brought them, but not knowing where she left them. Her classmate Simula appears with Mia's glasses, as her friend had left them in the women's restroom. When Komura tries Mia's glasses, he finds them so thick that they make him dizzy. To avoid falling, he tries to support himself against the wall, but Simula is right in front of him. Mia arrives and sees the situation from afar, misunderstanding and thinking Komura is making advances. She rushes over, and separates them, and no one understands what's going on, as Mia takes the opportunity to pretend nothing happened. As days pass, Mia starts wearing her glasses more often, which slightly depresses Komura, because it means she doesn't need his help as much. However, he's glad she's more comfortable. It's dangerous for him to be so close to her all the time, as it's hard for his heart to handle. One day, Komura forgets his history book, and embarrassed, asks Mia if he can read with her, excited to finally return the favor, and moves her desk next to his, so they can read together. She realizes with her glasses on that when their desks are together they are very close, something she hadn't noticed without them. At another moment, Mia asks him for help, because her friend needs new glasses, since she has lost the previous ones. Komura doesn't understand why she asks him for help, and she explains that she usually goes with her dad, but since he couldn't accompany her this time, she hoped Komura could help her choose new glasses, meaning the ones she would use for a few days before losing them again. Komura gets excited and embarrassed, but is also worried as he considers it a huge responsibility. After Mia tries on many pairs of glasses one after another, she realizes she can't decide, because all the glasses look beautiful on her, and his comments don't help at all. So he decides to tell her that it doesn't matter which glasses she wears, or if she wears none at all, because she's great just the way she is. Having said this, he admits that he won't be able to help her choose, because for him, they all look good. Hearing this, Mia blushes and ends up choosing the same old glasses, despite the cute scene. With Valentine's Day approaching, Komura feels sad, wishing that Mia would give him chocolate. However, his sadness quickly fades when Mia asks him if someone called her from behind. Komura starts to get nervous, because it's clear that Mia heard everything he said, but he tries to change the subject. By asking why she left the market without her glasses, Mia explains that she knows the place well, so it wasn't a problem, and tries to continue asking what she wants as a gift. Komura enters a crisis, because telling her he wants chocolates feels almost like confessing to her. However, he can't fake it either, as the entire market is covered in pink and Valentine's Day items, so he feels trapped, but is relieved to see that Mia sees everything as red due to her lack of glasses, and thinks that they are under renovation, which means he has been spared this time. Then they head to the supermarket, which is the real reason they were there. Komura is excited to be shopping with her, but then the girl asks him, and insists on what he meant by the gift he's expecting from her. He tries to change the subject again, but the situation worsens when a supermarket employee offers them free chocolate samples, even though he tries to prevent Mia from taking a sample, and his companion is already tasting the chocolate. He grabs her hand to get away from there, before the employee finishes her sentence about Valentine's Day. However, Mia notices and realizes that everything pink and red around her. She then comments that it's better to have cold hands like hers for making chocolate, and realizes that maybe what Komura expected from her, so she asks him if that's the case. He panics, because he can't lie, and his feelings are very clear, so he only expects rejection from her, but instead, Mia explains that she will cook and give chocolates to all her friends, so he will also receive one. Despite being happy not to be discovered, he is saddened to be just a friend to her. Finally, Valentine's Day arrives, and Komura is a bit depressed, because although he knows he will receive a chocolate from Mia, it will only be as a friend. He tries to convince himself that it's enough, but the reality is he would like much more. After seeing how Mia gives homemade chocolates to all her friends, and at the same time receives chocolates from her friends, it seems it's his turn. Mia approaches him, and reaches into her bag to give him his chocolate, but then she realizes that she has run out of chocolates. Komura is terribly depressed, although Mia assures him that it's okay. Mia also looks depressed and embarrassed. Then she asks him to stay after class in the classroom. At the end of the class, Komura and Mia sit facing each other, and Mia explains that she is very sorry for not calculating the chocolates properly, and not having any for him. But despite that, she wants to give him something, because after all he's her friend, and deserves something like everyone else. Komura insisting it's not necessary, she remains firm and tells him he can ask for anything, because she will do it. Komura's mind, much clearer than before, only asks Mia to listen carefully to what he has to say, because he's willing to confess his feelings. He wants to take advantage of the moment when she doesn't have glasses, even though he's seen she almost never wears them, so she won't be able to see his face while he confesses. However, he becomes too nervous, thinking that he might ruin the friendship, and finally he can't find the words, so he ends up saying that he can't bring himself to do it at that moment, and will wait until the day he has glasses and is prepared. Meanwhile, he patiently tells her he will wait until that happens, and will try to wear glasses more often, so he can tell her. Then she finds a chocolate in her pocket, and gives it to him, still affirming that it's a friendship chocolate. After a month from Valentine's Day, the white day arrives, when men give chocolates. Komura is nervous, because he has chocolates for Mia, but tries to calm himself, saying it's to return the favor for her chocolate. Then Mia walks into the classroom, looking completely dejected, and he asks what's wrong. She explains that on Valentine's Day she received many chocolates, and ate them all, which made her gain weight. So that same day, she stopped drinking her morning cocoa to lose the extra weight. Then she asks Komura to help her avoid overweighting, and Komura feels depressed, because he won't be able to give her his gift. At that moment, Asuma approaches her, and gives Mia homemade cookies in compensation for the chocolates Mia gave him, which annoys Komura, because since he wants to help her, he can't give her his chocolates. Throughout the day, Mia continues to receive the gifts, and as she's starving, because she didn't eat, she ends up eating the gifts at different times, but she is stopped by Komura when he realizes he can't contain his hunger any longer. He tells her that if she's going to eat something, she should better eat his gift, and hands her the chocolate, although he later feels bad for not helping her with her diet. Mia quickly eats Komura's gift, and thanks him through tears. After so many visits to her favorite sweet place, Mia has filled her reward card, but the card expires the next day, so she has to mail it after classes to get her reward. Komura worries, because as usual she hasn't brought her glasses, and the post office is in an area that Mia doesn't know, so he offers to accompany her, and Mia gladly accepts. Later, Komura's friends invite him to go to the arcade to try out the new machines, and Komura gets excited and accepts the offer. However, he then remembers his commitment to Mia, and tells them that he already has plans. Mia, listening from afar, feels bad that Komura has to cancel the things he enjoys to be with her, so she tells him that she will go to the post office alone, because she has her contact lenses, and doesn't need anyone to accompany her. Komura knows she's lying, but doesn't understand why. Throughout the day, Mia finds herself in situations where she must pretend to have contact lenses to keep up her lie, and to avoid making Komura worry her. She ends up having to continue the lie when she can't read which classroom she should go to, and ends up getting confused. Komura, who knows she's pretending, also pretends to be confused about the classroom to accidentally cross paths with her, not to make her feel bad, and to guide her to the correct room. Mia then confesses that she actually can't see anything, because she doesn't have her contact lenses, but she did everything to avoid making Komura worry, and because she doesn't want him to stop hanging out with his friends. Because of her, she apologizes for needing him so much, but also confesses that she likes being by his side, and wants to monopolize him for herself, which embarrasses Komura. But before he can say anything, she reassures him that she won't monopolize him. Komura says he will still accompany her to the post office, but then remembers there's a mailbox at a nearby supermarket, so they go there instead of the post office. Later, Mia goes back home, and Komura joins his friends at the arcade. The year ends, and at school, they give out awards for perfect attendance. Mia and Komura go up on stage to wait for theirs, and Komura overhears his classmates commenting on Mia's unhappy face. He realizes that he is used to her frowning due to her lack of contact lenses, but others are not, and he doesn't want her to ruin her reputation while they wait for their diplomas. Komura tells Mia that he knows a trick to calm nerves, which involves touching a nerve in the hand. Since Mia can't see which nerve it is, she asks Komura to show her by touching her hand, which makes Komura tense and nervous. Mia notices, and shares her own trick for calming down, which is thinking of cute and funny things like an octopus with an umbrella. Later, as she receives her diploma, she realizes that all the years felt slow to her except this one, which flew by, and she realizes it's because she had such great moments with Komura every year. Before classes start, they draw numbers and seating positions that will remain for the rest of the year. Komura gets the same seat as last year, but Mia gets a different one. Komura thinks to himself that he hopes the person sitting next to him will help, and then realizes he's assigned to sit next to Asuma, which makes him jealous. Despite this, he tries to convince himself it's a good choice, because Asuma will help him. But he can't shake off the jealousy. He then tells Mia that she must sit next to another classmate due to a mix-up, but she keeps looking back at where Komura is, while Komura's new seatmate introduces herself as Yui. After a while, Yui gets up, and goes to Mia, confessing that she can't see well from a distance, and asks to switch seats, since Mia is in the front row. Mia agrees without any problem, and sits next to Komura, explaining that if she is in the back, she can get distracted without being scolded, and that sitting in the front would make her too distracted, because she would be looking back a lot. This makes Komura think that Yui's reason for switching seats, because she was looking at him, though he later tries to convince himself that it's impossible. In art class, they have to draw a portrait of their seatmate. Mia must get very close to Komura to draw him, and still, she can't see well, so she decides to draw him the way she sees him in her head. This makes Komura blush a lot, and when he sees the portrait, he wants to take it home and hang it in his room, but the teacher takes it at the end of the class. Later, in the bathroom, a classmate talks to Mia, and gets very close to her face to see her eyelashes. Mia feels uncomfortable, having her classmate's face so close, so in the following days, she becomes uncomfortable whenever she gets close to Komura to see him, realizing what he must feel, though she has no idea what it actually feels like. One day, Mia finally brings her glasses, but after class, she forgets them on her desk. At that moment, Komura passes by to get some notebooks, and sees the glasses. Although he considers taking them, he begins to doubt, feeling like a pervert, and sends a message to Mia to ask her what to do. With her confirmation, he takes the glasses home, although he still feels like a pervert, but tries to think that there's nothing wrong with it, and that he is just keeping them safe, so they don't stay on the desk all weekend. Despite trying not to pay attention, he cannot concentrate on his homework, because he keeps imagining Mia in his room where the glasses are. Since he can't do anything else, he decides to clean the glasses, following online instructions. At the same time, Mia feels embarrassed at home, because she wonders if the glasses might have her fingerprints on them. Unable to stop thinking about it, Mia calls Komura to ask if the glasses were dirty, although she later says that she probably didn't notice, if only she knew how obsessed he is. Mia then thanks him for taking care of the glasses, and comments that having the glasses at his house is like having a part of her there, which confirms his thoughts and makes him blush. Mia says goodbye, mentioning they'll see each other on Monday. Komura, already distressed, cannot stop thinking about what Mia said, making it unbearable to sleep in his room, which he imagines Mia is in. So he spends the entire weekend without sleeping. The next day, Mia arrives at class, and as usual, gets too close to Komura while trying to see things up close, causing her to fall on him, which makes him blush. After getting settled and apologizing, Mia comments that she needs to be more careful, because this happens often. She recounts a time when she bumped heads with a stranger in another incident, where she almost touched lips with someone, which embarrasses Komura tremendously, and makes him nervous, fearing Mia will realize he is in love with her. Mia then clarifies that those incidents happened with her father, when she was very young, and asks Komura not to think she is a bad girl. She sits down in her chair, extremely embarrassed. Another day, Komura is massaging his shoulders, because they are sore, and Mia notices. She offers to give him a shoulder massage, claiming that her father always says she gives good massages. Komura refuses, knowing it will be an uncomfortable situation for him to feel Mia's hands on his shoulders. But since Mia gets offended, and insists she won't hurt him, Komura has no choice but to accept. After giving him a good massage, and receiving his thanks, Mia writes in her notebook shoulder massage. Komura asks what she's doing, and Mia cheerfully says she's noting down all the things she can do for him, even without the glasses, as a thank you for everything he does for her. On another occasion, Mia arrives at class when no one else is there, and finds Komura asleep at his desk. Since she has her glasses that day, she takes the opportunity to observe him closely. She touches his hands, and almost intertwines her fingers with his, just as Komura wakes up, creating a tense situation for both. On a rainy day, Mia doesn't wear her glasses as usual, and sees worse than ever, so she accidentally steps in a puddle, soaking her sock. When she arrives at the classroom, she asks Komura to turn around for a few seconds, and not look at her while she takes off her sock. Sure, they're too wit to keep. Seeing this, Komura blushes and decides not to look at her the rest of the day, thinking she must have a foot fetish or something, and is waiting for her father to come home, so she can get in. He realizes she is wearing a skirt, and fears she might be showing everything. In the middle of the night, Komura receives a strange call from Mia. Although he's surprised, he answers, because she watched a scary movie and she's very scared. After Komura sings the school anthem, and makes her laugh, he advises her to use her phone's flashlight to find the bathroom. After using the bathroom, Mia thanks him for helping her and apologizes for always bothering him. They both wish each other good night before going back to sleep. Where class has planned a museum excursion. At that moment Komura's group arrives, and before they can say anything, the girls ask if they want to join their group. The boys immediately agrees, stating that's why they are there. Later, Mia asks Komura why he agreed to go with her, and Komura confesses that he wanted to spend time with her. To his delight, Mia says she also wanted to be with him, assuring him they will have a great time. The rest of the school day is spent organizing their trip together. That night, Mia puts the spare glasses in her bag, and has trouble sleeping, because she's worried about causing problems for Komura's group. But at the same time, she imagines sharing activities with him, and falls asleep happy. On the day of the excursion, Mia arrives late, and tells her classmates that she tripped on her way, and fell on her glasses and breaking them. She bought on a trip with her friends, even though she uses them so no one notices. It's too obvious since during the first exhibition, Mia can't answer the question, because she can't see anything. Komura realizes this, and then suggests a place where she can see things better. Mia, embarrassed that Komura noted her mistake, apologizes for being such a mess. However, Komura assures her that he likes being of help, and then she tortures herself, judging herself for saying that, as it would clearly annoy anyone. Mia thanks him for his help, and then tells him he can continue with his things, so Komura is sure he has made Mia dislike him, and that she now wants to keep him away. However, the rest of the day, Mia does not talk about Komura, and he thinks she hates him for saying those words. The next day in class, Mia is thinking about what Komura said on the trip, considering that he must have said it just out of kindness. He responds kindly that he is not angry about doing things that are bad for her. Later, with her friends, One of them realizes that the other is in love with one of Komura's friends, and Mia starts thinking about what falling in love means, as she doesn't understand much about that area of love and such things. Before going home, Mia confesses to Komura that she is still using the contact lenses, but that they bother her a lot, so she would prefer that he help her from time to time. After Mia's revelation, her attitude changes completely, and Komura notices it. She is in better spirits than ever, is kinder than before, and starts wearing a beautiful hairstyle every day. One of her classmates notices that Mia approaches Komura to observe his face, and asks Komura if he just kissed Mia. After he thoroughly denies it, Komura is still embarrassed. When Mia returns to the classroom and sees him like that, she asks if he is okay. The only escape Komura finds is to tell her that he is sick, and asks her not to get too close, so she doesn't catch it. Mia then offers him a mask she had in her backpack, and since he cannot admit he lied, he has to wear it throughout the day. Mia takes advantage of the mask to get close to his face, because she wants to see him. Her classmate continues insisting that they kissed, and Mia watches Komura from afar all day, to see if something new happens, which makes Komura very uncomfortable. He tries to keep some distance from Mia, to avoid raising any suspicions. But that's where this video ends. Remember to like, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.